You know what your problem is? Not you, I mean you all, collectively, like they say in Texas, y'all. You know what y'all's problem is? It's not what you do, it's more how you start, what your default position is. And what I want to do is I want to change your default to no, okay? So what do I mean by that? Let me share an example. So look at this chart. This chart's kind of a crazy mess. Let me explain what's going on. We have bars showing the user volume for a software application. We have two lines, both showing the percentage of people getting an error when using that application. One is for the old technology, one is for the newer version of the technology. And we have two dotted lines, which is the target error rate for both of those, okay? So you want to be below that line. So what I want to do, if I could, I would just give you a new key for your keyboard that would magically fix all the problems with this to make it better. And by the way, when I'm talking about better, I'm talking about better at communicating the idea and the data. So let's see what an F key could do with this. Starting off, we might ask ourselves, do I think that labeling every data point is a good idea? And the new key, by the way, it's really an F no key, okay? So to labeling every data label, I say F no to that. Let's get rid of those, okay? Do we think that the axes having a million tick marks and labels all over them, every number represented, is a good idea? Probably not. I'm going to say F no to that too. And I want to make those labels more readable. Now, maybe I can get away with that. Just the bottom number and the top number. Just April to April and none of the months in between. Maybe. Maybe not. But here's the thing. If you change your default to no, then it's somebody else's job to talk you into adding it back in, versus the other way around. That's what this is all about. It's just about changing your default position. Okay, how about the bars? Does user volume have anything to do with the error rate? Should they even be in there? I asked the client, they agreed. F no to those. Interesting, now those dotted lines look really heavy. They're drawing a lot of attention. You know what I want to say to those? Okay, now are markers on lines a good idea? I say pretty definitively F no to those, okay? Now, again, you may say, but Bill, are you talking about rules? Is this a rule, like a never ever break rule? For me personally, that one kind of is, but for most of us, listen, none of these are rules. I'm just wanting to encourage you to change your default to no, all right? So let's keep going. Now we have the chart, and I look at it, and I say to myself, okay, I want to see how the lines are doing compared to the targets. Is it easy to see in this chart? You know what I think? Let's hit that key and see what happens. Two charts makes it easier to see, doesn't it? But now I look at this and I say, is the line really the point of this chart? Maybe this is the wrong chart type, right? Maybe I can hit that key and actually show the right chart type, actually show the thing that matters here, the distance, the space, that area between the line and the dotted line. That's what this chart is actually all about, isn't it? And so then when I looked at this chart, I asked the client, I said, are we really comparing the old and the new technology? Is that what this is about at this point? And they said, actually, no one's even fixing the old bugs anymore. We've dismantled that team. So F no to that. Why don't we actually just show the one thing in this chart that actually matters? And so now I notice, yeah, I want to say F no to that weird scale. And that's not really exactly a no, is it? I'm starting to sort of transition into finessing, tweaking, just making the chart better overall. In other words, I can start to consider some F yeahs, right? Maybe inline labels, maybe a good annotation to point out the story in this chart. Before you yell at me and say, listen, Bill, yeah, people have been saying for decades we should have minimalism in data visualization, but that's really not always the answer. Yes, I agree. I've already said it. I 100% agree. There's a place for complexity and nuance. But if you change your default to no, if you just say F no more at the beginning, then there's a lot more room for those F yeahs at the end to make your visual really sing.